You wake up and somehow it's already Thursday. You don't remember Tuesday. You don't remember what you ate, what you said, or what you felt. And the terrifying part isn't the forgetting. It's that nothing inside you finds that strange anymore. This video is about the invisible prison most people never realize they are living in. The one with no bars and no locks because you built it yourself. By the end, you'll understand not just how you get there, but why getting out requires something far more uncomfortable than motivation or willpower, and what that something actually is. There's a version of your life that's happening right now without you in it. Your hands are doing things, your mouth is saying words, your body is moving through rooms, streets, conversations, but you, the part of you that notices, that chooses, that feels, checked out a long time ago. And nobody around you has noticed because from the outside, you look completely functional. You're showing up, you're performing, you're fine. But fine is the most dangerous word in the human vocabulary. Because fine means you've stopped expecting more. Fine means you've negotiated your aliveness down to a level that doesn't hurt and also doesn't reach you. Here's what nobody tells you about autopilot. It doesn't feel like numbness. It feels like efficiency. It feels like you've finally figured out how to manage your life without wasting energy on drama or overthinking. You've built routines, you found your rhythm, you're productive, but underneath all that structure, something quieter is happening. You've stopped being the author of your days. You've become the reader of a story someone else is writing. Except that someone else is just yesterday's version of you running the same script on repeat. The emotion underneath all of this isn't sadness, it's grief. And most people never name it that way. It's the grief of a life that's passing while you're waiting for it to begin. It's the hollow ache of reaching the weekend and feeling nothing. It's finishing a conversation with someone you love and realizing you weren't actually present for a single second of it. That grief doesn't announce itself. It accumulates silently and one day it surfaces as irritability or restlessness or a vague but persistent feeling that something is deeply, fundamentally wrong. Even whenever everything looks right on paper, and this is where the real question lives. If your life looks fine from the outside, why does it feel hollow from the inside? The answer begins with understanding how autopilot actually works in the human brain. Your mind is a pattern recognition machine designed to conserve energy. Every time you repeat a behavior, a thought, or a reaction, your brain builds a faster shortcut for it. That's efficient. That's survival. But it means that after enough repetition, you stop choosing your responses. You simply execute them. You stop experiencing your life and start processing it. The coffee in the morning isn't tasted, it's consumed. The conversation with your partner isn't felt, it's completed. The day isn't lived, it's survived. What disappears first is joy, it's curiosity. And once curiosity goes, everything that made you specifically you, the way you see things, the way you question things, the way you surprise yourself starts running on default settings. There are signs, and they don't look the way you expect. You don't wake up one day feeling like a robot. You wake up one day and realize you can't remember the last time you were genuinely surprised by your own reaction to something. You can't remember the last time you did something for the first time. You look at your schedule and every week looks identical to the last. Not because life is stable, but because you've unconsciously eliminated everything that requires you to show up differently. And you finish conversations and immediately forget what was said. You scroll through your phone and not because you're looking for something, but because the alternative, sitting with yourself, feels unbearable in a way you can't quite explain. You make decisions not based on what you actually want, but based on what the version of you from 5 years ago decided was the right path. You're living someone else's plan, and that someone else is a person you've already outgrown. Now, here's what most people do when they start to recognize these signs. They reach for intensity, a new goal, a trip, a drastic decision, a shock to the system, and it works for about 3 weeks because the intensity isn't present. It's just a louder distraction. And once the intensity fades, the autopilot turns back on. quietly, efficiently, invisible. So what actually breaks the pattern? This is where most conversations about this topic stop at the surface. They give you habits, they give you morning routines, they give you journaling prompts, and none of that is wrong, but none of it gets the root, which is this autopilot. It's not a productivity problem. It's an attention problem. Specifically, it's the result of a life in which your attention has been outsourced to your phone, to other people's expectations, to the noise of a world that profits from your distraction. Reclaiming your life doesn't start with doing more things. It starts with being inside the things you've already done. That distinction sounds simple. It is not, because real presence requires tolerance for discomfort. It requires you to feel the things you've been efficiently rooting around, the boredom, the longing, the uncertainty, the grief of time already past. Autopilot exists in large part because being fully present is hard, it's demanding. It means sitting with your actual experience instead of managing it from a safe distance. But here's what waits on the other side of that discomfort, and this is the part that changes everything. When you start paying deliberate attention, not obsessive, not anxious, just honest attention, your life stops being a sequence of completed tasks and starts being a live experience again. Small things return their texture. You notice the weight of your coffee cup. You hear the full sentence someone is saying to you. You catch yourself in the middle of a habit and make a different choice. Not because a routine told you not to, but because you were there to make it. That's not a small thing, that is the whole thing. And you have one life and it is made entirely of moments, and most of those moments are ordinary, quiet, and remarkable. And that's exactly where the fullness of a life is hidden. Not in the milestones, not in the highlights, in the Tuesday mornings you actually showed up for. Remember the question this video opened with. The thing that would require something more uncomfortable than motivation? That something is honesty. Honest attention to where you actually are, as opposed to where your autopilot is pretending you are. You don't need a new life. You need to come back to the one you already have. The loop closes here. The reason autopilot is so hard to escape isn't that you're broken or lost or too far gone. It's that it works. It protects you. It keeps things running. But you were not built to be managed. You were built to be lived. Fully, personally, and with the kind of attention that turns on ordinary Thursday into proof that you were here. Come back, start now, not next week, not when things settle down, now, in this moment, reading these words. You're already more present than you were 60 seconds ago. That's not nothing, that's everything.